Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
How are you, Lila?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. So I told you this before we started rolling. I think you were my last interview. I'm not really sure, or one of my last 5 interviews, probably.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I think, a year ago. So I
ago.
am a little bit rusty,
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
I love that you reached out and you're back and you have new stuff.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. It was a really fun chat.
It was a
really
great
smooth,
chat.
and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I had any expectations in general.
Mm-hmm.
I did listen to your music before.
Thank you.
And
it showed. You were prepared.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is really neat. And I watched your videos. We talked about how I think that I kind of figured that you had something with water.
Yeah. You kind of brought my attention to that. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Really consciously.
Yeah.
And then you told me that, and now it's been on my brain in a constant loop of
oh,
yeah, I do use water analogies all the time. This is clearly a repeated instance for me. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I am very insightful.
I come here for wisdom, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take note, everyone. So yeah, I remembered that, and I was wondering if you have a new element or anything that you after that, not because of the interview, but in general, because you were probably more aware of that because you said so.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you have a new element that you've felt more I don't know, connected with this new material that you've worked on and you've now released.
Yeah. It's gonna sound lame, but you brought that to my attention, and then I just leaned into the water motif.
Nice.
We shot a video, which I guess when this comes out, it'll be out. But we shot a video for my song "Something I Knew Was Missing," and kind of a concept that I wanted to expand on, I guess, with this album was tie the music videos together, so they all have a seed of the other music video in them.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can watch them separately, but then they also all tie together if you want them to. And Haunt, the video, I think we talked about it last time I was here, because it's been out for a while, but it a lot of it is a water motif. I think this was half of the conversation, because there's another one of my videos where it's also in the water, but yeah, we went back to the same beach that we shot Haunt at, and the end of the video for Something I Knew Was Missing ends at the same spot in the beach, and we kind of lined up the shots so that if you watch the videos side by side, it's kind of the same. There's a different storyline and stuff. This one's a lot more gruesome, actually, bloody, but but we intentionally kind of lined that up because I wanted the beach to connect those two videos. So water's been a continued motif, and there's some lyrics on my album as well that are ocean related.
Also, so, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I
thank you for pointing that out. I'll give you royalties for that.
Take note, everyone. This is how you make money.
Exactly. Point out an artist's motif.
Yeah.
And then you can take credit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Especially because the reason I probably noticed it was because I don't remember if I said this in the last interview. But because I've had many dreams with the ocean or water related, that I either control water or I dance with ocean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Moana and
love.
all of it's
love.
Oh my god, I feel probably someone also has, or many people also have those kinds of dreams.
Definitely.
And even though I don't know who they are,
everyone's kind of connected through that fabric.
So it's kind of that's how I felt connected with you before I met you. So when we had the interview, I was I really wanted to talk about the water.
Let's talk about the water.
Yeah, everyone's like, what? But I just
they didn't know that they were signing up for Ocean Talk, but they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is now a marine biology podcast.
With two people that don't know.
Not qualified.
No.
We know fuck all. But emotionally, maybe it's a different story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that you have these connected videos, you have this last single that you just released a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which is Tell Me I'm Pretty.
Yeah.
How did that song, like, where's the inspiration behind that song? Because it's Tell Me I'm Pretty, like, we're friends.
Yeah.
So
it's like a bit of a mind game song, I guess. I started writing it like, a really long, like 2020 or something like that. Like a while ago. I wrote just this
when you
hook.
were still in Montreal?
I was, over the pandemic, I was at my parents' house in Nelson, but then I finished writing it in Montreal. So like last year. And it took me a really long time to write it. I wrote the hook, which is like, tell me I'm pretty, like we're just friends. Like I wrote that, like 2020, 4 years ago.
Okay.
A long time ago. And I wanted to do something with it, but I couldn't quite. I kept putting it into songs and it just didn't feel quite right. And I wrote it about like having weird romantic or sexual tension with a woman and not knowing if they're viewing it as a friendship or if they're viewing it as a relationship. Because so often I think like having these conversations with other women, it can get passed off. Like women are just generally affectionate.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say,
we're like complimentary.
Yes.
And like it doesn't always, it rarely, well not rarely, but like half the time it's just out of like friendship and like human connection and like women connecting and nothing to do with like wanting to pursue a romantic relationship in any way. But then as someone who also dates women, like it's confusing to know what that line is because I don't want to overstep. But then I'm also like,
you also want
certainty, but I also want to know
like yeah.
So that was kind of what I wrote the hook about. And then I just explored that, had some confusing experiences with women and it just and that I had to live some more life before I wrote that song. So it kind of all came to be and I like finished writing 3/4 of the song like in Montreal and then I wrote the last quarter of it, like the bridge of it, which I think is my favorite part of the whole song personally. I wrote that in like the spring of this year, so here in Vancouver. So it's lived many it's been all over Canada, this song, in the writing process. But that's kind of like in a nutshell how it came to be.
Can you tell like if now that you know like can you like kind of pinpoint what you were going through those moments when like those parts of the song started to like come to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Always with the good question. I think like it took a really long time to write it for a reason, because I think I'm saying different things at different points of the song, and like I wrote the first bit of it kind of like the first time I had like a crush on a woman and like knew that was a romantic crush, not like a friend crush. And so that was like that's very clearly like linked to that lyric, tell me I'm pretty, like we're just friends. And then kind of like the other like 3/4 of it I wrote while I was in a relationship with a man actually, and I was kind of grappling with like queer identity and what that meant and what it meant to connect with even just like women, like female friends on like a friend basis. Like I was kind of just like unpacking all my different kinds of relationships, I guess, and
like what it meant to you, what it
and like I, being in a relationship with a man, I'm like, okay, what, like, is that my future forever? Like, does that mean I lose my queer identity? What does it all mean? And am I able to like, label myself as queer if I'm in a relationship with a man? And like, I've since unpacked all these topics and like, the answer is yes for me personally, but, like, I don't know. And finding what my, like, how to navigate like platonic relationships that feel like kind of like a soulmate kind of love, because I've definitely had like I have friendships where I'm just like, you are my soulmate, like it's totally platonic but I love you in like in a romantic way as well, like it's a hard thing to describe, but like I think women find this a lot with other women, like it's just like this deep instant connection. And so kind of like unpacking that. And then the bridge was written when I was kind of having weird, definitely more romantic feelings for a female friend of mine. And that kind of like drove home that point. So I feel like honestly, like for a song that I wrote with queer love is the overarching theme and like self-expression and self-identity, I feel like I kind of like dove into so many different parts of my identity throughout the writing process. And I think that's why I'm really happy with the way that the song came out.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you feel once it was like finished?
When I wrote that bridge, I was like, that's one of my best bridges that I've ever written. I felt so
I'm
good
a
about
genius.
it. I'm so talented. I felt like I don't know. It felt like that song just wasn't feeling done, I guess. And like I toyed with so many different bridges and so many different choruses and like all these different things. So when I had 3/4 of it, I was like, oh, I'm so close. Like I just need the last puzzle piece and then it'll be done. And when I wrote that bridge, I was like, and there it is. I just had to wait for it. And like, it was really just a lesson in patience. But it felt really good. And I didn't think that it was going to be a single. And then I played the song, just like a demo version for a friend of mine. And, she was like, that bridge, that's a single bridge. Like you have to put that out. Like that is such a single bridge. It builds really nicely. It pushes you into the chorus. Like we're both just like lovers of a really good bridge. So that was, she might've been biased, but, yeah.
I like to think she wasn't. So.
Yeah. It was completely unbiased. But yeah, like it was just like a deep sense of satisfaction and like trust the process, you know, because I think it's easy to get frustrated. So yeah.
I feel like I've heard other, you know, like music writers and talk about how, you know, they're playing with like a hook or you know, a little
line
bit
or
here,
something.
line,
Yeah,
and
totally.
and they keep playing over and over and, you know, playing with it and kind of but it doesn't make sense until one day something happens. It doesn't even have to be related.
Yeah.
But then you just kind of feel it or whatever it happens, and then like the complete song makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's something common with you brilliant musicians.
Something in the fabric. Yeah, I just read Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act. And like he talks about, I bought it expecting it to be like just an autobiography of someone who's like made it in music. Like he's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like so much more about his relationship with creativity. And that really like struck a chord with me. I was going through like a writing dry spell before finishing this album. And I just like kept beating myself up and I was like, oh my God, like has the well run dry? Like every time I get into a rut with writing, I immediately jump to like,
I'm not talented. It's
over. And like, that's it. I've tapped, the well has been tapped. Like there's nothing left. We've pulled all the words I possibly could out of my brain. We're done. Like, let's just coast off songs that I have never released to the world. Like, I've got so many songs that are just sitting in my notebook. Like, we'll just pull those out and that'll be my career. Like, we're done. And yeah, I just really couldn't get out of it. And I read this book and I like rationed it out. It was like, I wasn't reading it every single day, but just a little bit for a few days every week. And it just really struck a chord with me because he really talks about like how art and our artistic expression in like whatever medium people work in, like everyone's creative in their own way. And whatever way you're expressing that is like just a translation of what he calls source. And everyone speaks their own language and it's your translation of this information that you're getting from the outside world. And that you just need to let it like run its course and like let the tap run clear. If it's like shitty music, it's shitty music, but you translated it successfully. And not all translations are beautiful, but like sometimes they are. It's a translation and you successfully translated it and that's all that counts. And like, don't get frustrated with it. And that single-handedly like broke me out of my writer's block and just things started flowing again. And then I started making music and this album kind of just like happened. I was expecting to put it out next year, like end of next year.
Oh, wow.
And then things just snowballed and I was like, holy shit, I can put this out this fall if I want to. And it just like happened. And I have Rick Rubin to thank for that. So thank you, Rick Rubin.
He also talks about how like, because he's done so many different genres, and how he like, even though he was kind of, I don't know if like criticized, but like people would point that out to him and then would tell him like if you've done such a great, you know, rap album, like don't move into pop metal or pop. Totally. And everyone was like, no, don't do it. It's not. And he would be like, well,
I want to try this.
Yeah, I want to try this. And I also like this kind of music. And I don't want to do any other rap album anymore. And like,
you have to know when like you're creatively tapped out. You don't want to force it, you know, like in one, like try something else that allows you to translate, you know, don't like try and read the same thing over and over and over again and try and interpret it differently. Yeah, that makes sense.
I also feel like it does make sense for you as well, because your music isn't necessarily like one genre. It is very like, I don't know, you have like slow kind of like melodic, you know, guitar kind of like
sad songs. You can just say
sad
it.
songs. Depressing. I'm kidding. No, but like sad, but like depressing. Just like sad, melancholic.
Totally.
And then you have these songs that are like a lot more, I don't know how to describe, and I feel a little bit dumb.
No, that's okay.
But you have this song that I love. I forgot the name.
You can do this. I'll send you like
I'm like, wait,
let's link up our ocean signals and communicate.
It's the one that does the
oh yeah.
That's what I didn't want it to do.
Wait,
I wanted to remember the
two that it could be. There's one called
Never Mind. It's Never Mind. Oh my god,
you got it. Look at that.
As soon as I was like, oh, it's Never Mind. I wanted to remember. I didn't want to do.
You can get him to cut that out of the podcast, and like no one will know.
Please. Because I just sound very dumb.
No.
Anyway,
no. Good.
So that one is very different from your like other sad
I can
songs,
hear
you know?
it. It's that one.
And I love that song. The first time I heard it, I was like, repeat. It's so good. I really like it.
I do love that song, to be honest. I love playing that song live. People love that song live, and I love playing that song live. Nice. It will never leave the set list. Like perfect. Yeah. It's always going to be there.
Okay.
Unless it's like an acoustic strip back show, and then like maybe not. But I'm not playing lots of those these days.
Well, I mean, Nirvana did strip back like acoustic songs that were not thought to be
to be stripped back. Listen, I did a stripped back version on the deluxe album, and I could do that in a stripped down like acoustic setting.
And you already have like the tech, you know, side to it, like you already know that
the engineering kind of side. Yeah, totally.
So you could
I could do it. I could figure it out.
You could figure it out.
I could figure it out.
So anyway, that's from past songs.
Totally.
But so these songs are, I feel like, a little bit like happier.
Yeah.
Do you feel that like, is this because it's like post-COVID, even though those songs now that you mentioned were like some of them started during started then?
Ooh.
Do you feel like you're in a happier place right now, and you have like these, you know, happier vibe, inspiration?
Yeah, honestly, I do. Like, I don't know, like I kind of just circle back to the platonic love thing. Like, I'm just in love with my friends. I love my friends. I do. Like, I go on dates with my friends, and it's more fun than any romantic date. Are you kidding me? Because like there's no filter, you don't need to impress, but like we dress up for each other, and like I don't know, I have a lot more platonic love in my life than I did over the last couple years. And like, not to diminish the platonic relationships that I did have, like I absolutely have deep connections that I've had for a long time, but I think my platonic relationships have like exploded in the last year and like doubled and tripled, and the way that I feel for my friends is just like everything. It's all encompassing. I
more broadly and deeply at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's kind of where I've poured my concentration of like love and affection and energy in the last year. And I feel like it's a lot more rewarding in a way, or like it's an investment, I guess, because romantic relationships they can end, and I think it's a lot harder to end a platonic relationship. Like there's just an agreement that you're just gonna be there, you know? And like I see myself growing old with so many of my friends, and I'm like, this is a relationship that I know I want to have in the rest of my life, so I want to pour my love and affection into that relationship, and like not to take away from romantic relationships, but that's just kind of where my focus is these days. And I feel like because of that, I don't know, I just feel like my soul is being fed a lot more these days. And so I'm just like happier in general. And I don't know, like there's a lot of songs on this record that are not about romantic love in any way. It's like they're love songs for my friends, or like they're not related to like relationships at all. And that's like kind of a new avenue for me. Like I've written stuff about like mental health before, but yeah, just like writing things that aren't about me, or like getting outside of myself a little bit, and like writing from my friend's perspective or whatever. But yeah, I think it was a conscious choice with this album to have a lot more like upbeat songs. I like toured last year for the first time across Canada, and as I was building the set list, I was like, yeah, it's like great, we have some upbeat stuff, we have a lot of like you said, sad, depressing, melancholic stuff,
which I love.
Yeah. Oh no, like listen, everyone needs a cry. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm happy to be that for people, for sure. Those aren't going to stop coming. But I just wanted to, like, every time we played an upbeat song, like the crowd just comes alive. And it was like, I want to make a record that is kind of geared towards that, and like has songs that I'm really stoked to play live.
Yeah.
And so that was a conscious choice, this album cycle, to like
did
make
you also
songs
like build beats, like thinking of like how people would react to them live?
Absolutely. There's a song that I keep talking about like it's not out, but like when this comes out it will be. So there's a song called Oh Hey Honey, and the front half of it is like very like kind of it has a melancholic undertone, I guess, but it's like just me and my guitar, and there's lots of like harmonies, and it's pretty like palatable, digestible, like lovely little song. And the back half of it like goes like ape shit, and there's like crazy drums, and like the bass comes in, and I love the switch up, and it was like, this is gonna go so hard live, especially on this, like I'm about to go on tour for like a couple small album release shows, and like those shows will be crazy because no one will have listened to the song yet. And so like especially the Vancouver date, like the album comes out while I'm on stage, like no one will have heard that song, and when we get to play that live for the first time, like everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck, like what's happening right now? This is not the song that started. Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know, I'm really excited to play this record live, and like absolutely built it like percussion and like vocally, thinking like this will surprise people live, or like this will get people dancing or whatever. And
nice.
Like, big shout out to my drummer Jess Jones, because she killed it on the drums. She played a song that was a 250 BPM and smashed that. Sounds fucking great. So big ups to her, because she did the bulk of the percussion work on the record, and she killed it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Have you done like a release, what's it called? Release party?
Yeah, party.
Yeah,
show.
It's a release party. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done like a party necessarily.
But you've had like friends, listen to some of the songs.
I've played songs for some friends for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And sent them off to some friends in Montreal and stuff. Played them for my family, which is always scary. It went over well. It's fine. Still love them. They still love me. But yeah, I have played songs for friends, and yeah, I'm honestly really excited about these like album release shows, because that'll be kind of like an album release party in a way. Like yeah, each night with like a big scale version of it. But I'll probably end up having something with like friends before the record comes out, or like right after it comes out, and just have everyone over and like stroke my ego a little bit. But yeah, we have this video coming out as well on the 29th of November, which is actually my birthday. That was intentional. That was an intentional planning thing. But for something I knew was missing, the video that I was talking about that ties in with Haunt, and we're gonna have a release party because we had an awesome cast for the video, and so gonna host everyone at my house and have a little screening party, and yeah, it'll be sick.
That's cool.
That'll be fun. That's my like set release party, not release show plan right now. So,
nice.
For the video. Yeah.
So everyone's invited.
Exactly. Yeah, so my place, November 29th. Just kidding.
Please don't come.
No, please don't. I will not be disclosing my address on the internet. I'm good.
But I'll tell everyone.
Mm-hmm. It's in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's linked in the video.
And so I also wanted to ask you about something that I realized just before, like when you reached back, I was like, oh wait, are you friends or are you sisters or related in some way?
Yeah.
With Asia.
She's gonna love that you asked this question. Okay.
I didn't want to ask her.
Get me into the lore.
I could, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait.
Okay,
I'm gonna ask Lila.
How do you know Asia?
Because she works at Guild.
Oh my God, amazing. What? This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm totally talking to her about this after. This is so funny. Okay, so Asia and I met each other in high school.
So because you look
yes. No, we look so much alike. Yes.
We're both like,
dark-haired white girls with big brown eyes. And
yeah.
we look exactly the same.
And you have kind of like the same smile.
Absolutely. It's freaky. Okay. So
but so then she's a friend that you talked about
last absolutely
interview
on the
that
podcast.
You said like when you guys decided
we
to
write together and totally.
And I actually heard the song you did with her before, but I didn't.
But you didn't like put two and two together.
Yeah.
Totally.
Until I think today.
Amazing.
I was like, oh, like I knew Asia was involved in music and she, but I don't know. I just
didn't
was like, wait, they look a lot alike. And I was like, maybe they're sisters.
Yeah.
And then I know she also lived in Montreal.
She
so
did.
I was like, oh wait, maybe
there's some connection.
Yeah, I feel like they're sisters maybe.
Are we ready for the lore drop? Okay, so Asia and I met in high school through a mutual really good friend named Versailles. Shout out Versailles. She's awesome. And then we connected over music and like songwriting together, and we made that EP Too Far Gone that has the like collective tracks on it that we made together. And then I got accepted to school in Montreal.
Wait, this was in high school? You
did
that EP in high school?
Yeah, in high school.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I got accepted to school in Montreal, and I was like, Asia, you should come with me. She was gonna go to like a childcare or like nursing program. She's gonna kill me for not knowing what that was, but it's irrelevant because she didn't go.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Don't get mad, Asia.
No, exactly. And she was gonna go do this program at Selkirk in Nelson, and then I was like, what are you doing? Like, come do music. Like, you're so talented. What if you just apply to the school that I'm going to? So she did. She got in, and we moved together. And then her, me, and our mutual friend Versailles all lived together in Montreal. And Asia and I are like, she's a friend that I'm totally like platonically, spiritually in love with. We are like siblings. Like, we fight like siblings too. She'll admit it as well. It's like not a secret. And then she moved back to Vancouver. Like, I planted the seed in her ear that we live in the same city again because I missed her. But she has a twin. I don't know if she's told you this. She has a twin.
There's 3 of you.
Yeah, well, so we're not related. But me and her look more alike than I would. We get this a lot. Like, and especially when we went to school, we were like basically the 2 only women in our class. And like, I'm probably 90% of the people that were in that class like still could not tell us apart. Like, if there was money on the line, it was like a 50-50 coin toss. Like, I'm sure they don't know who's who. But we do look a lot alike, and I do think that we look more alike than her and her twin sister, which is spooky.
So weird.
It's spooky. It's weird. So not the first person.
Show me pictures.
Yeah. Show receipts of the twin. Not the first person, will not be the last. We get mixed up all the time. So
okay.
She says the easy way to tell us apart is just that I'm covered in tattoos and she has none. She's taller than me.
Right. Yeah, she's taller than you.
That's
But yeah, you still look. I'm like, I feel like there's
someone's lying. Someone's lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom,
we are related.
Dad.
Yeah, I want receipts.
Yeah.
I want to see a DNA test. Yeah, no, that's so funny. I love that you guys know each other. That's great. That didn't click in my brain for whatever reason.
Well, for me, it clicked in just very recently, because I was like, wait, they look very much alike. Maybe they know each other, and then. Yeah, we
live together.
And then, I kind of stalked you.
That's okay.
But then I saw pictures of you, and I was like,
hold on,
they are sisters.
Yeah,
and I don't know, but I was like, maybe they. Wait, I don't know. I was confused.
We have a music video for one of our songs that we did together on that EP, and like, it looks like we're a sister band. Like, that is what it looks like.
Yeah, it does.
Like, in a way, in a way, it kind of is. So
You are
yeah,
Gaelic sisters.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to Asia. I
Yeah,
forgot to do
cheers
this
to
before.
Asia. Hold on, there we go.
And to your,
And to my
You
record,
not
and you being a
being-
great interviewer, and to fall, like everything.
We're not even drunk, and we're like just like spits back.
Just yapping.
Yeah. Okay, so back to music.
Okay.
I was wondering that because I was like, you guys, and you did music together. And
Yeah.
So I don't really want to go back
Mm-hmm.
into how you, even though I'm very curious.
Yeah, no.
But because you have new material.
Yeah, totally.
So you've already released 3 of the songs, which
Mhm.
is Haunt.
Mhm.
But this was, when did you write Haunt? This was
Haunt's
like a while
yeah,
ago.
I didn't think it was gonna make the record, to be honest. I thought it was just gonna be a single. It came out in like January of this, maybe earlier.
No, I think it was before that. No,
Yeah, I think so.
because I already knew about Haunt.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
So I
sure
think the
wasn't-
song came out before that, and the video came out in January. I could be
Okay.
totally wrong though, honestly, but I think that's right. I think that's right. I don't know. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it came out a while ago. Like, safe to say, like, probably too long to count it as a single on the record, but that's fine.
It's okay.
Rules are non-existent when you're an independent artist. So so that was the first one, and then I had a song called Something I Knew Was Missing come out in August. That was planned, and at that point I did know that Haunt was gonna be on the record, but I didn't know when I released Haunt that it was gonna be part of this project.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks ago I released Tell Me I'm Pretty, and then and now that when this podcast comes out, the record will be out. But
What's the name of the record?
it's called Scared of the Dark, You Should Be Too.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit of an ominous fall title. Feels like fitting to be doing all the promo in October, and then it comes out in November. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now, so now I know why Haunt is in the, because it's part of the.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I did not think about that, but I will be using that now. Yeah. It's the
You're
spooky
like, that's
end.
why
That's totally why. No other reason. Not because I felt like it fit the project. It's just the title.
How did you come up with the title?
I had that in my notes for like years. I wanted it to be a song title. I just had Scared of the Dark, and then I had underneath it like options for like a second kind of half, I guess, to the sentence. So it was like, and you should be too, or like Scared of the Dark, I am too. And it was like, I wanted it to almost sound like someone's telling you something, or I'm telling you something. Like, I'm scared of the dark.
Yeah, not just like a name on a wall.
Exactly.
More something that kind of interacts with who's reading it.
Exactly. I wanted it to feel personal in some way. And so Scared of the Dark, I played around with having that as just the only part of the or only title for the record. And then like I said, like I just wanted it to be more of a conversation. So I felt like the You Should Be Too really adds like a kind of dimension to it, or like it attaches a person. Yeah. Whether that's me speaking to you or someone else, like that's up for interpretation. But I kind of liked that it has it's a name in 2 parts. Yeah. And like the merch prints are really fun, I'm not gonna lie. And like there's a little bit of the like I was just working on the visuals for the live show, and like it's really fun. We play off of like fear and being scared of the dark. There's like a little skit at the beginning, and that sounds really like campy and weird, but it's not. I promise. The show's really good. It just has a little intro that's really fun. So
we already said the music is like, this one's a lot like more upbeat and happier. So.
Yeah.
But do you like, is it just because you like that kind of title, or is it you trying to tell people like not just like the dark, but like the dark in people, like the darkness in people? Or?
Yeah, I think it actually started as like a literal title, because I'm pretty sure I put that in my note when, and I could be wrong, but I'm like 85% sure I put it in my notes app after I smoked a little weed, and I was walking down a dark hallway, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So I'm pretty sure like that's how it came to be. And then it kind of has taken on new meaning now. And like, I think Scared of the Dark has a lot of different connotations you could attach it to, like scared of the dark as in like emotions, like feelings, like depression or sadness or like anxiety, like any of those dark, like negative emotions. it could also absolutely mean that you're walking down a hallway and you're high and you
And
don't
you're
like the dark. You literally
yeah.
do not like the dark. Also, like, kind of looking at it as like scared of the dark being like a metaphor, I guess, or like an analogy for like being alone. I feel like when you're in the dark about something, you're like unaware of what's going on, and
uncertainty is
yeah,
at its like peak.
Yeah, exactly. You're not conscious of your surroundings, and like it's often if we're gonna call dark an emotion, like it's an emotion that's experienced by yourself. It's like a lonely kind of concept, and I think I felt that a lot kind of at the beginning of making this record, not so much at the end. I got my community now. Yeah, I got my friends, I got my family, but yeah, like I think it was an isolating process to begin with, and then it got more collaborative, and so that also kind of has meaning for me, I guess, with the title and like the way that the album was created. But because a lot of it was written in like, yeah, just like in my room by myself, and did a lot of the like back end production just totally by myself. And then I brought friends into the studio, and that's like when it got collaborative and really fun and community based. But yeah, so I think there's a few different meanings, and I'm like excited to see what meanings people latch onto or like perceive it as well. Like I'm open. I'm like, what is your version of dark? Like I have my version of dark, but what are you scared of? Like what's your dark, if that's a way I could phrase it, I guess.
Yeah. Were you like a kid that was afraid of the dark?
100%, yes. Yeah. Totally. Not so much like, I mean, I slept with like a nightlight on, but we had this big hallway and a big staircase that went up to the hallway, and like as a kid I'd turn all the lights on to go upstairs, and then if I had to go get something and like come back down, I'd have to turn the light off and I just like run. Yeah. I was like, I can't. Something is gonna get me. Like this is the end for me. So yeah, absolutely. I was a runner in the dark. Like I'm not fucking around. I'm not staying up in the dark hallway by myself as like a 6-year-old. Like fuck no.
Would you make up songs to try and like kind of soothe you during the process of having to walk
the hallway?
Yeah.
No, I would just run. I would run so fast.
But like so for me it was like if I would have to like I don't know, I want a glass of water or whatever. It's like I know it's dark and I know I'm gonna turn the lights on, but I'm gonna be by myself. Yeah. And I'm like, that's dark. Yeah. And I'm just pushing a button, but it's dark.
If it's dark.
So I would kind of like, and I'm gonna be by myself, pouring myself a glass of water. So I would like kind of
sing
make
up
just like
I love that.
Something like very stupid and like super,
bring a little bit of joy, a little bit of light to
the
the
like a cartoon like kind of you know, just mumbling or whatever. Just to feel like this isn't real. I'm just I don't know.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, totally. I wish that I don't think I was smart enough to do that. Like, I was just like a runner.
Well, I also ran.
That's
but
fair. Yeah, no, it's like the same thing. Like bringing back to the water. Like I do have a fear of like deep water. Love the ocean. Love swimming in the ocean. But like deep water where you like don't know what's underneath you. Ooh, yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. And every time I'd get into like that kind of situation as a kid, I would convince myself that there was something after me, and I would just swim like the goddamn wind to the shore. Just like I gotta make it back. And that's the same kind of phenomenon with like the dark hallway. I was like, I'm gonna run. I'm like, something's gonna get me. Yeah.
I mean, I love the ocean, but my worst fear would be to get killed, like drowned.
Dark.
You know, like drowned.
Yes. Okay. We've hit a dark turn in the conversation.
Yeah.
This is what you're scared of. Let's unpack our fears. This is on the topic of you know, my album title. Yeah. Yeah. What are you scared of? That's what dark. You're scared of. Okay. That is absolutely dark. That's your dark.
Yeah, that's my dark. Like being
that's horrifying.
Like, drowned.
Yeah, no.
But I still love the ocean. And
absolutely. The ocean brings joy, and it also brings fear.
Yeah. Both.
Like my record.
Yeah. So what's the first song on your album?
It is Something I Knew Was Missing. So it's the one that came out in August.
Okay. I was like, is it Haunt?
Yeah, starting off strong. No, that one closes it. So
nice.
Yeah, like a little bookend. We have singles on either side, and then one in the middle. But Something I Knew Was Missing like starts off kind of intimate and slow, and like you think it's a piano ballad. And then a little like modulating synth kicks in, and we're off, and like drums come in, and I think it's a good opening track. Kind of like sets the tone for the record in a way that I wanted it to. So, yeah.
And which one was your favorite song to write of this album?
Really good question. I've now like forgotten every song on the record. No,
because like I mean, you mentioned like you loved the bridge for
yeah. Tell me I'm pretty.
Tell Me I'm Pretty, but like the whole song, I feel like sometimes you might have, you know, like, oh yeah, I wrote this and I enjoyed writing this part, but it's just because I really loved the bridge. But like the whole experience of writing a song,
yeah,
especially because you mentioned that you had like collaborative, for some of the songs. So.
Totally. I'm gonna give like kind of two answers if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
I have my first ever song in my second language, which is French, coming out on this album called T'es mon homme, and that one is really fun because like I have written songs in French before, but I always feel really self-conscious about them, and I feel like they don't flow as nicely as my like English songs, just because it is my second language. And this was the first like French song that I wrote that I was like, yeah, I want to put this out. This is good. Like it's doesn't mean anything particularly deep, but I think it sounds fun and like, yeah, I had a
French
vision.
Sounds always better.
Yeah, it does. Oh my God, English is the worst language. It really is. You're a Spanish speaker. Yeah, you're a Spanish speaker. Also a beautiful language. Like, what are we doing? English is so nasty.
I feel like in English I'm like very serious, a very serious person, or I sound serious. I don't know, but in Spanish I'm a lot more like
chill, or like
no, like a lot more like I think I'm funnier.
Okay,
I don't know if it's true.
Yeah,
but I think I'm funnier.
Yeah,
and I'm like my voice is like higher.
I
and
love
like,
how people's voices change when they speak
and in
different
English
languages.
I'm like,
yeah,
I feel like I talk like this, like
yeah.
super, like, I don't know.
It's funny because I kind of feel like I have like two relationships with French. Like when I speak French, I try
feel like it's deeper.
Okay,
French is like deeper, but I don't know. I might be wrong.
When I speak French and I intentionally, listen, I love Quebec. Okay.
But it goes high.
It goes low when I'm speaking Quebec. Like when I'm speaking with my Quebecois family, my voice drops. I sound like an alcoholic smoker. Like it's low. But when I'm speaking, like when I go to France, like they hate the Quebecois accent. So I pull it out of myself. I'm like, no, thank you. And I try and do like kind of a neutral French accent. And my voice is so much higher when I speak like that for whatever reason. So I kind of have like two different voices within one language, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you do, that's funny.
It's like code switching, but within one language. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Do you like, so when you were writing the song, were you thinking of these like this deep, low kind of French tone that you were?
I went France.
So it's like a
it's like it's c'est pas vrai. Bien sûr. I also like singing. My voice changes when I sing in English. It also changes when I sing in French too. So like I don't know, it's a softer sounding song, obviously. Like I think French in general is a softer sounding language, but I didn't like consciously necessarily think about like my like voice change so much, but it does feel a little bit like another side of me, I guess, because like I haven't sung in French like publicly, so that's a new exciting avenue to turn down. I'm really nervous for my French grandma to hear it. Like she's gonna chew me out for my pronunciation, but it's fine. We'll get past it. And then my like second favorite song. Well, I would say they're tied for first, but they're like they brought different things to the table. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like French for because French, and then because French, and then the other one is a collaboration. Oh my God, wait, hold on. They're both the same song. I'm just thinking of two separate writing things because half of it's in English and half of it's in French. Okay, really? Oh my God, talk about like split brain. Wow, that was really embarrassing. Okay, they're the same fucking song. I'm thinking about how I just have one song. Yeah. Shut up. Oh my God, my brain. Okay. Yeah. So I'm thinking about when I wrote the French portion of that song, and I left a verse out because I wanted a feature on it, and I didn't know who necessarily. I reached out to a couple artists, and then I landed on someone that I'd actually been listening to for a little bit, like as a fan, named Michael Isaac, and he's was based out of LA. He lives in New York now. But then talked with him in English, like he speaks English. And so we like had a little Zoom writing session or like talked about kind of the themes that I wrote the song about because he doesn't speak French. And then he wrote an English verse and brought that to the table. And like, that was such a fun experience because I came to him kind of as a fan. Like I just found him on TikTok a few years ago and really liked his vibe and reached out to him on a whim and was like, would you want to feature on this song? And he did. And it was so fun to meet over Zoom and like just be able to write with someone that I'd like never met with in person. Yeah. We still haven't met. Would love to meet in person. Like hopefully I can tour to the US or he can come to Canada or whatever. But yeah. And so it was cool to have a song that has like both languages that I speak on it. I don't speak English in the song, but he does. And like, yeah, just a bilingual writing experience was really cool. Yeah. And so, yeah, pardon my stupidity for thinking that was two separate songs. I was just like thinking, oh, I wrote in French. And then I also wrote this cool like collab with someone in English.
Oh, wait,
but
it's the same song.
I've had like barely a sip of mezcal and I'm like, oh my God, that's the same song. I'm not drunk. I just am stupid. But yeah, it was that song I think would be the highlight of the like writing experiences for me off the record because of everything I just said.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Have you had any like moments when you're like, I don't really think this song should be in the album, but I'm just gonna put it there because everyone tells me I should?
I actually there's like 3.
Is there a song for this?
There's 3 songs that didn't make it onto the album. I listened to my inner critic and I said, no, it's not ready. I don't think that there's songs that I like won't ever put out, but I feel like now's not the time. It's kind of like just to circle back to that like translation of like creative source conversation of just like, I don't think this one's like fully baked yet. Like, I don't think it's done. And so I didn't want to rush anything. I wanted everything that I put on this record to feel like really done. And I didn't want to put 12 tracks on the record just for the sake of having 12 tracks. Like it's 8 tracks and I like them. Like they're all done. They wouldn't change otherwise. Like those are locked in. Those are what they are supposed to be. And I think if I put some of those songs that I ended up like pulling off, if I had those on the record, I think it would, for me, maybe not as a listener, but like for me, take away from the project as a whole. Cause I don't feel like that they belong on the project artistically maybe, or that they're like, yeah, fully baked and like fully cooked and done and ready to be out in the world. So yeah.
Who or what was your like biggest muse for this album?
Oh, also a great question. I don't know if there was like one specific thing. I've been really,
because you read Rick Rubin and then
I read Rick Rubin. I mean, like I've just been listening to a lot of music. Like, I mean, that's a stupid answer. Like I'm always listening to a lot of music, but this year in particular has been like a really good year for music. There's been some really good albums come out, and like I feel lucky to have been making an album while there was really good music like coming out all the time.
Nice.
So from a sonic perspective and even lyrically, like I mean, Billie Eilish's record is like amazing.
Yeah,
it's perfect. That's like a perfect album.
Yeah,
it's a perfect album.
Yeah.
And,
like,
yeah. End of podcast. We'll just end it there. Yeah, and then the Maria's record is like also just that fueled my summer. Like I was just like biking around in June, just like listening to that record. So use that as a reference for a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean those are kind of like the main one. I am always listening to like Lorde and Arlo Parks. Like those two artists like always have some kind of influence and are always used as a reference. But like, yeah. Oh, and Sarah Kinsley. That's the other person that I've been listening to like a ton. And I got to see her live in September, and she was like an absolute ethereal goddess on stage. Like, did not disappoint. Yeah, those are kind of like the musical like muses. But in terms of like themes or people, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, talked about like my friends. Obviously, there is some like romantic. There always is with music. There's some romantic muses in there for sure, but yeah.
You won't say their names, but
no, those are just for me.
They know.
They know.
They know.
They know who they are. They do.
They know.
They know, and my friends do too. But yeah, like I don't even know that there's necessarily like one theme through the whole thing. I think they all just like all the songs kind of came to be around a similar sort of time. And like, yeah, some of them started being made in like 2020, but didn't really wrap up till this year, and all made sense for them to go on this project. So yeah, it feels like a cohesive and like, I don't know. I'm proud of the record. I'm stoked on it. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you.
So it'll be released
November 22nd.
Okay, yeah. I was like at the end of November. Well, November 22nd.
November 22nd is the record, and then November 29th is the music video for Something I Knew Was
That
Missing.
We're all invited.
Yeah, big party at mine, guys.
And you're touring.
Mm-hmm.
You're touring. Like, well, you're playing here.
Yes.
You're playing in Nelson.
Yeah.
You're playing in Montreal.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
a little baby tour. There's a big tour coming next summer, but that's for another time.
Mhm.
But yeah, just doing like 3 album release shows this fall. So November 21st is Vancouver, and then, which I don't know when this is coming out, but that might have already happened. So
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I think this
great.
will be
around that time
or before.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
November 21st, Green
Yeah.
Auto, with Asa Nabucco and Stephanie Kimber opening, and then I'm heading up to Nelson on the 23rd of November, and then Montreal on the 29th on my birthday. Big day.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I'm excited to play the record, and like each of those cities have such a special place in my heart. So it's really fun to like have those be the first cities that we play the record live in. So yeah,
Nice.
Mhm.
I'm excited.
yeah, thank you.
If you ever decide to do like a release party before,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't tell these.
Yeah,
well,
no,
yeah,
shh, no.
no.
Yeah.
I'll just DM you.
But yeah. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan.
Thank you.
And
I'm a fan of yours too.
thank
I
you.
love the podcast. Yeah.
Thank you. But this was really fun.
Mhm. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always a treat to come on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a great interviewer
Oh,
or interviewee. Sorry.
Yeah, you're a
interviewee.
great interviewer.
I'm a great interviewer.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks so much.
I'm still rusty, but
No, this is great.
but it was really nice, like to have you back.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of like it feels for me like a full circle moment.
Yeah,
Like,
amazing.
oh, it's nice to be back and to have you back.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And so I feel like I could just like ease in.
Relax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to be that for you. Yeah.
So everyone,
for
stay
having me.
tuned.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Lila Gray, everyone.
Stream Scared of the Dark. You should be too. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.